The message you hear today is not just for today, but for the path ahead. Each day arrives not as a repetition of the past, but as a gate that opens into the unknown. The path ahead is invisible, yet shaped by the way we walk now. Most people live as if life happens only in front of their eyes, but the wise know life unfolds within. When God speaks today, His message is never small. It is not for your momentary satisfaction, your temporary mood, or fleeting emotion. It is a seed planted for the path ahead, for the terrain of tomorrow. However, only the still, the attentive, and the aware will recognize this. Just as only those who still their breath can hear the rhythm of their heart, only those who calm their mind can truly hear when the divine speaks. People often look for dramatic signs. They want booming voices, flashing miracles, or sudden shifts. But God's wisdom does not compete with the chaos of the world. It speaks through the silence beneath all movement. There is something sacred about recognizing that the message you hear today may not be understood immediately, that it may unfold over weeks, over months, or even years. That is the nature of divine timing, and so one must become patient, rooted like a tree that grows without rushing. For when God speaks, He speaks not to where you stand, but to where you are meant to go. Most people misunderstand time. They think that today is only about today. They think that what is said in this moment must be applied instantly. But the mind must evolve to understand the layers of a single word from the divine. When a sacred teaching enters your life, it doesn't just echo in the air. It penetrates your being. It awakens something dormant inside you. But it can only do so if you allow yourself to listen, not just with the ears, but with the whole body, the whole breath, the entire presence of your awareness. To hear God today is not about religion nor belief. It is about alignment. You don't need to belong to a system to be aligned with truth. Truth is like sunlight. It falls on everyone, but only those who open the window can feel its warmth. And so when you hear that God speaks today, ask yourself, am I listening through an open window? Or is my mind still closed by distractions, assumptions, and fear? In the Shaolin tradition, every movement is sacred, every breath is conscious, every moment is a doorway to transformation. But that doorway cannot be opened unless you become still. Not stagnant, but still. Still like a mountain that watches the clouds pass by without reacting. If you can cultivate that stillness today, the message from the divine will not just pass through you, it will become part of you. We are trained in society to chase after answers. We seek clarity, solutions, predictions. But when God speaks, He does not offer all the answers at once. He offers a direction, a spark, a shift in your awareness. It is subtle, not loud, profound but quiet. Only those who have trained their attention can capture. That is why mental discipline is spiritual discipline. That is why the preparation of the mind is not just helpful, it is necessary. Imagine walking in a fog. Ahead of you something is glowing. It is not yet fully visible, but it draws you forward. You don't run, you move with care. That glowing presence is like today's message from God. It is not here to be consumed quickly. It is here to draw you into deeper awareness, to make you pay attention, to ask you, how do you move when you cannot see clearly? How do you listen when nothing is being shouted? How do you prepare yourself for a journey whose destination is not revealed? To hear God today is not the end of something, it is the beginning. But if your mind is full of past noise, old pain, and outdated beliefs, you will misinterpret the message. You will twist it into something convenient rather than something true. That is why silence is powerful. That is why meditation is not optional. It is the foundation. Only in silence can you receive without distortion. Only in inner stillness can you recognize the real from the false. So when you hear something today that seems like it could be from the divine, ask yourself, am I hearing through a mind that is clean, or one that is clouded? The path ahead does not need to be revealed all at once. It is revealed step by step, and the first step is to recognize the importance of preparation. You cannot pour clear water into a dirty cup and expect to drink purity. Likewise, divine guidance cannot enter a mind that is constantly reacting, judging, or consumed by fear. If you are to receive truth today, your first task is to clean the vessel, to prepare the soil of your being, to let go of what is no longer needed, to clear away the dead leaves of your thinking. Only then can the seed of the message find root. You must not expect the message to sound like something new. Often it will feel familiar, not because you've heard it before, but because your soul already knows it. The divine does not always teach. Sometimes it reminds. Sometimes it awakens what you have forgotten. Today's message may simply be a reawakening of who you already are. But to recognize this, you must stop trying to become someone else. You must listen with the heart of who you truly are. Not the version you perform for others, not the mask you wear for safety, but the original self, beneath all layers. The power of today is not in what happens around you. It is in what you do with what happens within you. When you receive even one sentence from the divine, treat it as sacred. Reflect on it. Sit with it. Do not rush to interpret or explain. Let it settle in your breath. Let it travel through your body. Let it become part of how you walk, how you speak, how you meet the world. If you treat God's message lightly, it will not penetrate deeply. But if you treat it with reverence, it will grow within you like a living tree, bearing fruit over time. Sometimes, the most profound message is not in words. It is in the space between the words, in the moment of silence after you hear the truth. That is when your spirit reacts. That is when the real transformation begins. If you always look for stimulation, you will miss the silence. And without silence, you will miss the essence. Do not look for entertainment in the sacred. Look for truth. Look for alignment. Look for presence. To prepare your mind is to empty it of clutter. To prepare your mind is to make it receptive, like a calm lake that can reflect the sky. You cannot see the reflection of the stars in turbulent water. Likewise, you cannot perceive divine insight in a mind that is rushing, grasping, or afraid. Slow down, breathe, become aware of your body, feel the ground beneath you. Recognize this moment as not just another day, but as a gate, a portal to something greater than you have ever imagined. There will be resistance. The mind will tell you that this message is too vague, too abstract. But wisdom is not given in straight lines. It is given in patterns, in symbols, in silence. If you are looking only with logic, you will miss the spiritual. You must look with the eyes of the heart. You must feel with your breath. You must allow yourself to be moved without knowing exactly where you are going. That is faith, not blind belief, but the inner trust that what is unfolding has purpose, even if the map is not in your hands yet. Today, the divine may be speaking to you through something small, a sentence, a coincidence, a passing feeling. Pay attention. Do not dismiss it. That moment may contain the seed of your next transformation. The smallest spark can light the entire forest if it lands on the right ground. Be that ground. Be ready. Do not wait for confirmation from others. Do not seek validation. You will know the truth, not because someone tells you, but because your soul recognizes it. That is the essence of inner clarity. This message is not for yesterday. It is not just for now. It is the beginning of something greater. You will carry it into your choices, into your relationships, into your decisions. The way you walk today, after hearing this message, will shape how your future unfolds. If you walk with awareness, with humility, with courage, then no matter how uncertain the road, you will walk in alignment with the truth, and that is all that matters. So when God speaks today, do not rush to act. First, become still. Listen deeply. Let the message move through you like breath. Let it touch the parts of you that no one else sees. Let it dissolve the fear, the doubt, the impatience. Then carry it forward, not as a weight, but as a light. Let it guide your next step. Let it become the inner compass that keeps you centered even when the world spins around you. This is the path. This is the way of the awakened. This is the teaching of the ancient masters and the whisper of the divine. The message you hear today is not just for today. It is for the path ahead. Walk it well. In this fast-moving world, we have become conditioned to noise. We chase answers. We pursue achievements. We seek validation. Yet the great paradox of life is this: the deepest truths are not found in movement, but in stillness. When you stop running, when you quiet the noise around and within you, something ancient begins to speak. Not in language, not in volume, but in presence. This is why stillness is not an escape. Stillness is the way. Stillness is not the absence of movement. It is the presence of awareness. It is not the lack of activity. It is the fullness of attention. When God speaks, it is not to compete with the loudness of the world. The divine does not need to raise its voice. It waits. It waits until you are silent enough to hear. That is why the spiritual path always begins with silence. Meditation is not a practice of emptying the mind. It is a practice of remembering the space from which all wisdom comes. When you wake in the morning, do you listen before you act? Do you pause before you speak? Do you sit with yourself before facing the world? These questions are not trivial. They define whether you walk through the day guided by wisdom or by habit. God speaks today, but not to the loud, not to the rushing, not to the distracted. God speaks to the quiet heart, to the still soul, to the one who has chosen presence over reaction. In the Shaolin tradition, before a warrior trains his body, he must discipline his mind. Before he moves with strength, he must sit with stillness. This is because true power is not found in force, but in clarity. The mind that has not tasted stillness will always act from chaos. It will react, defend, judge, and assume. But the mind that has entered silence becomes like calm water. It reflects truth. It receives light. It reveals what is hidden. Stillness is a gateway. It opens a different kind of perception. In stillness, time slows down. And in that slowing, you begin to feel the heartbeat of life itself. You begin to sense the energy behind words, the intention behind actions, the lesson behind the challenge. You no longer chase meaning, you perceive it. You no longer force understanding, you allow it to arise. When God speaks through stillness, it is not with commandments, it is with invitations. An invitation to notice, an invitation to surrender, an invitation to trust. But these invitations can only be received when your mind is quiet enough to recognize them. Think of it like tuning a radio. The signal is always broadcasting, but unless you tune your frequency correctly, all you hear is static. Stillness is the tuning. It aligns your awareness with the divine frequency. There is an ancient saying, be still and know. Not think, not analyze, not strive, but know. Knowing arises from stillness. When you are still, you drop below the surface of your thoughts and enter the ocean of intuition. This is not the mind that processes, it is the mind that perceives. It is the clarity that sees without needing to define, and in that perception, the voice of God becomes unmistakable, not because it shouts, but because your soul recognizes its tone. When you practice stillness, you are not doing nothing, you are preparing everything. You are cleaning the windows of perception. You are grounding your energy. You are creating space for wisdom to enter. And most importantly, you are showing the divine that you are ready, not to receive answers that please your ego, but truth that transforms your being. This readiness is not shown in rituals. It is shown in presence, in openness, in the sacred pause between breath in and breath out. Many people ask, why do I not hear God? Why do I not receive signs? The answer is simple, yet confronting, because they have not become still. They are listening with ears, not with awareness. They are waiting for external miracles, while the internal miracle is already available. But it takes courage to be still. Because in stillness, you meet yourself. All the layers, all the shadows, all the distractions fall away, and you face your truth. And this meeting is where transformation begins. Stillness is not always comfortable, especially at first. The mind resists it. It wants to move, to solve, to distract. But the discomfort